I came up from a home that was mostly consisting of living with my grandparents because I had a broken relationship with my parents. They were outside of marriage. Didn't really live the best life.
I've been a Christian pretty much my whole life, as long as I can remember. I had family members that were pastors and things, so I was always in church.
I've known God since I was pretty much born. I was raised Lutheran by my grandparents, and during which time I resided at that church for probably close to my teens.
In my early 20s, I fell away from God, and I didn't go to church for about 10 years. Got married for the wrong reasons, got pregnant before I got married.
I ended up joining an organization with the Masons, and they clashed and said I had an option. I could either join the church or join the lodge, and I ended up leaving to join the lodge. I still lived my life how I felt was right, drinking, relationships outside of marriage type deals.
I was in my marriage for 4.5 years and I got divorced. My kids were 3 years old and 5 years old at the time. And I was a mess. I knew everything was falling apart, and someone had told me about Metro.
Then finally I came to Metro through a friend of mine, and he pushed me to come, and it kind of blew my mind. And I was thinking this church was kind of too good to be true. And over a couple years later down the road, I finally accepted to consider this place home. I was a truck driver for 13 years. April of 2016, I got into a semi-truck accident, and since then, put me on disability. So then I started coming back to on and off with Metro, and finally started coming back. I got baptized on June of 2016, and lo and behold, there was someone also getting baptized that same day that I didn't currently know.
Pastor Jeremy sat on a couch with this guy named Mike, and Mike started talking about this place called Renew. I knew I had to go there. I knew I had to see what this was all about.
I ended up going to Renew, not wanting to at first, but after a few more people were talking with me and finally got me to go, I went through the 12 steps and I graduated.
I went and talked to Mike. He gave me a book. He told me to come back. Well, the very next day I tried to commit suicide. I was in the hospital for 10 days. Only had visitors one time. I asked for that book. I ended up rededicating myself and getting back on the right track. I met various friends, and Justin was kind of in the background. We really didn't talk that much. A year after I had gotten baptized, we ended up being in a mutual friend's wedding.
Lo and behold, there was one seat open next to me, and sat down Olivia.
I tried to go sit with my Metro Kid friends, but all the Renew friends were like, oh no, come sit with us. And we joke all the time that one of our Renew friends hooked us up that night.
She kept messaging me out of the blue. We were friends on Facebook, but it was just constantly getting messages. And by the third day, I was kind of like, oh yeah. She might kind of like me. I am a guy, so I'm not good at picking up hints at all.
God had brought us together and had lined us up. When Pastor Greg was still here, we were doing this Song of Solomon series, and he talked about dating with a purpose. That was something me and Justin said within weeks of us dating.
And I told her, I said, if we're not going to date with a purpose, there's no point. I said, if there's not a goal of marriage, then that means that we're just wasting each other's time.
We probably knew within 2 months of us being together that we were going to get married.
Since then, we got married on July 27th of 2018.
And now, being married almost a year, we have grown both even more in our faith.
People tell me that, you're seeing what you've gone through and seeing what you've done has definitely been an eye-opener for me. And I'm like, I appreciate that somebody else is watching, including adults and children, when it's either at home in prayer or that in public.
Our root is in Christ. All of our stories are different, but they're all the same at the same time. We're all rooted in the love of Christ and what He's brought us through. My poor son was 3 years old, and he was a mess. And now people say he's going to be a pastor because of how he prays. God knows what He's doing. He knows what He's doing in this church and the people He's brought here together for a reason.
And I know that without God, it just would have never happened if it wasn't for a place like Metro. and I wouldn't want it any other way.
We are the Godells.
And we are Metro.